What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It, because we are here to talk about fight shit. Of course, what else? There's nothing else to talk about. It's about fight. It's about the fight world. Combat stuff all day, every day, as much as we possibly can. And the things to talk about are just different things that are roaming the MMA universe, the combat universe. You know, just a few different things that have been going on. Let's catch some people up. We got our light heavyweight champion had to relinquish the title due to an injury. Now, I thought this was super dope of Jamal Hill, because he took the most noble way possible. He took the highest ground possible in this, and he got the opportunity to become champion because another champion decided, I'm injured, I can't defend, I'm going to relinquish. So Yuri Petroska relinquishes his light heavyweight championship after beating Glover Teixeira due to a very bad shoulder injury that's going to leave him out for a while. Therefore, Jamal Hill gets this opportunity. Well, if you know the full story, I could do the whole breakdown. The full story of the light heavyweight belt has been relinquished a billion times. But this one, so Yuri relinquished, opened up the opportunity for Jan Blachowicz, damn, I can't pronounce names tonight, Jan Blachowicz to go up against Magomed Ankalaev. They both fumbled the bag. They couldn't get it done tonight. On that night, they couldn't get it done. Neither become champion. It ends up in a draw. Like, the worst thing possible that can happen for that division is for a fight to end up in a draw. So Dana White that night, even though he never makes fights on that night, he made a fight that night, and he proceeded and went forward and said it's going to be Jamal Hill versus Glover Teixeira for the vacant light heavyweight strap. And as this happened, we had a phenomenal fight up in Rio early in the year. I think that was in January, just to open the year. So you had a beautiful fight in Rio between those two. Jamal Hill comes out, gets the win, becomes champion. Now we're all waiting for the defense to come, because his first title defense is going to be against Yuri Petroska. We're all thinking, right? You know, maybe in August, September, October, November, around that time, right? Unfortunately, injury happens. Jamal Hill cannot defend his belt. He says, you know what, I gotta do this the right way. I gotta relinquish as well. Someone else relinquished to give me the opportunity. I gotta relinquish to give somebody else the opportunity. So now what does that do? That opens up a whole new world for the light heavyweight division. We're back to a vacant strap. We're back to who's number one contender. We're back to is the possible next big light heavyweight fight a championship fight? And it looks like it is. Now, it looks like UFC might have made a little slippage on ESPN and put out the information for this next one, for UFC 291. Everybody knows this card. It's the baddest motherfucker card, pretty much. You know, you got Tony Ferguson going up against Bobby Green on this card. You got Alex Pereira going up against Jan Blachowicz on this card. You got Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier battling for the actual BMF belt on this card. That's huge. It's huge, 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 huge. And you already know the UFC, Dana White, does not like to leave a belt vacant, does not like to leave a division empty without a champion. So I can see this co-main event of UFC 291 becoming a championship match. It's going to be a championship match. And I think it's going to be Alex Pereira, Jan Blachowicz facing off for the light heavyweight strap. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And the reason I think that, because, like I said, Dana White just doesn't like to go with a division without a champion. You know it. You've seen it with Dana too many times. All the different interim championships and shit like that. The man doesn't like having an empty division. So he's definitely going to book that fight. He's definitely going to book that fight as a championship fight. And we're going to get that. We are going to get that in this baddest motherfucker card. And the fight is exciting to begin with. Now, you already know the winner of this fight automatically is going to fight Yuri when Yuri comes back, because Yuri's going to back way before Jamal. So Yuri comes back, fights. Whoever wins that, boom, then you go against Jamal. Boom, you got a long, long list of things now you can do in the light heavyweight division. But let's talk about the possible matchup between Alex Pereira versus Jan Blachowicz. Oh, not possible matchup. It is the matchup, but possible championship matchup. Now, if this turns into a championship fight, this changes the whole aspect of the fight. I think at this point now, making it a 5-round fight, putting a championship on the line, you're going to get a much more aggressive Alex Pereira. In my opinion, that's bad. That's real bad for Jan Blachowicz. And the reason I say that, and look, I'm not one of the big Alex Pereira riders or anything like that. I'm a big Alex Pereira fan. I like the way he fights. I like his style. He's exciting, and the personality he is just, he's a scary fucking dude, right? So I'm definitely rocking with all types of hype that is behind Alex Pereira, right? Jan Blachowicz tends to be a bit slow in the early rounds. Not necessarily slow to where you're gonna like whoop him up, right? But he's downloading his data. He's taking time. He's figuring things out. If Alex can bull rush him a bit, right, and just get in his face, be super aggressive in the early rounds, I think it changes the whole aspect of this fight. I think before 3-round fight, each guy paces themselves a little bit longer, right? They both can last 3, no doubt. That's what I was picturing, right? I think Alex is going to fucking go right at him now in a 5-round fight for the belt. He's going to go right at him. He's got nothing to lose. He's not going to be fearful. He's going to go in there looking to land the left hand, looking to be damaging with the left hand. And we've all seen it. We already know what happens with that left hand. That left hand is nasty. Nasty left hand. Dangerous left hand. He hits hard as fuck. But so does Jan Blachowicz. So at the same time, Alex Pereira's got to make sure he keeps his hands up, man. Make sure you keep your fucking hands up. Every shot that Israel Adesanya has caught you with in the past, including the most recent one and the past fights, has been the same punch. Keep your hands up. Craziest thing about this card too, or just about that whole card, that whole night, it really is like the baddest night of fights. You also got Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence on that night. I'm not going to do a full breakdown on that yet. That will be coming soon. But yeah, that's just such a dope night of fights. I mean, think about that. You have the BMF belt on the line. Possibly the light heavyweight championship on the line, which I would say 95% chance that light heavyweight strap is going to be on the line. And then you got I don't want to get it wrong, because I'm always getting this wrong, because there's too many fucking divisions in boxing. I want to say it's the super welterweight. Let's see what belts are Crawford and Spence. So you guys got to understand, when it comes to boxing and MMA, I know much more about the whole history and build of MMA. I know a lot of fights with boxing, right? A lot of historical fights, a lot of good fights, but nothing. The information of boxing doesn't click with me the same way that MMA does. There's so much going on in boxing. I got to get my homie Dave on here, because Dave's the reason you see half the posters that I got on the back wall. But Dave is like an encyclopedia of boxing. He can open up his mind to bring you to the most obscure fighter from the most obscure time. I'm not like that. I can maybe get a little like that with MMA, but this man goes deep with boxing and MMA. But Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, 2 undefeated boxers, with the first men's 4-belt undisputed welterweight champion. So just welterweight champion. You know, I'm always confused. There's welterweight, super welterweight, middleweight, super middleweight. Like, I don't even know the fucking divisions of boxing. You know, it's so hard to follow because there's so many. So many different belts, so many different championships. Love the sport, but damn hard to follow. But this like I talked about Tank versus Garcia. I talked about Lomachenko and Devin Haney. This is legitimately the biggest fight in boxing today. This is the biggest fight in boxing today. I don't think there's a bigger fight in boxing. You know, the only thing that would come close, and it still probably wouldn't be close, would be Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, which that ain't gonna happen because Tyson Fury out here fighting MMA fighters now. So, since we're on the boxing topic, since I brought anything up about fighting, oh wait, this is a fight channel, so we talk about fighting all the fucking time. But since I brought up boxing, Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou is made official, which is wild to think. I did not think that that would actually happen. And it's weird to say this, right? Ngannou won the whole battle between him and the UFC, and he got the bag, or he's getting the bag per se. I don't know. It's agreed upon 8 million or 10 million or something like that. I don't know. I still think he fumbled the bag. Not in a financial sense, I guess, but career sense. This was not the best move. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is and isn't at the same time. It is because now you make your whole reason leaving the UFC financially worth it, right? No one can argue that. The PFL even would have been a thing that's financially worth it. But career-wise, there's nothing. I mean, you could, if you win, it's fucking huge. But at the same time, man, like, does anybody really expect Francis Ngannou to go out there and get a huge dub? Now, I'm not saying it's not possible. It's not impossible. Anything is possible, man. Anything in the fight game with heavyweights is possible. And a man hits hard as can be. But if we're really breaking down the boxing sense of it, he's never had a boxing match before. He overall doesn't have the best boxing skill when it comes to technique. He hits hard as fuck. He bull rushes. He's explosive. But boxing wise, right? Doesn't have the best boxing. His cardio isn't the greatest. And look, I know a lot of people are watching this like, oh, bro, you just hating on Francis. No, I have no hate on Francis. I fuck with Francis. The only thing I hate about Francis is the fact that we don't get to see him in the UFC. That's the only thing I dislike about Francis. Besides that, I've never complained about watching a fucking Francis Ngannou fight ever in my life. The thing about it, though, is we're looking at boxing versus boxing now. We're not looking at boxing versus fighting. We're looking at boxing versus boxing, and you're talking about the best heavyweight boxer in the world who went through 3 times. Tough fights, right? Some of them tough fights, tough moments, but went through adversity and stole, in my opinion, partially stole Deontay Wilder's soul in at least two of the 3 fights, if not one for sure, right? One for sure, maybe 2, is what I should say. One for sure, maybe 2. But the way I look at it is, he already fought a boxing version of Francis Ngannou. He fought the hard hitter, the tough puncher, and a guy who's already fought 40-something boxing matches. It just, to me, I don't see a way that Francis gets it done. Yes, he hits hard. I don't see him lasting. I see Tyson Fury doing what Tyson Fury does. Jabbing, 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 moving, jabbing, until the point that you see Francis Ngannou one time breathe like this. And it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And that's when Tyson Fury would take over the entire fight. I just think it's completely different skill set. It's something different, so different that when you've never fought a boxing match. Now, and look, listen, this is coming from the delusional man who thought that Conor was going to beat Floyd, right? I wanted the MMA world to win. I've been wanting the MMA world to win in every aspect of the boxing, right? But if guys like Anderson Silva couldn't get past Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley couldn't get past Jake Paul, Nate Diaz might not get past Jake Paul, for fuck's sake, but I know it's a bad comparison bringing up Jake Paul and Tyson Fury on the same, aspect. But every time an MMA guy goes to the boxing, they end up losing. Now, sometimes they win. You got some cases, Jose Aldo's getting some dubs. Anderson did get some dubs in the past and stuff like that. I just don't see this one being a win for Francis. Now, if Francis maybe would have came through and started that, his first boxing match at the heavyweight division was against Hasim Rahman Jr. or some shit like that, right? No, it wouldn't have been big at all. I know. Trust me, I know how the business of the game works. That would not be big at all. That fight wouldn't sell fucking all. Like no one would care to see the fight. But that's a fight to get the feeling of boxing. And I don't feel like Francis has gotten that, right? He spent all this time injured from an MMA injury, right? And in his last fight, any striking exchange that he got into that was a little bit of danger, he was able to wrestle his way out of it. He's not going to be able to wrestle his way out of this. He can't use clinch work, and he's fighting a bigger man. I think overall it's not the greatest idea. And heavyweights are different. When you see Conor McGregor go over and fight Floyd, not to say that Floyd couldn't have hurt Conor, but the risk was, it's a low risk, high reward type of thing. This is still a high risk fight. At heavyweight, anything at heavyweight for any man is a high risk fight, right? Very high reward, right? But low reward in terms of career if you end up losing this fight. And I don't know. I guess I just don't want to see Francis Ngannou go in there and get absolutely just sparked up, right? Because this was a guy who was heavyweight champion in the UFC, was supposed to be an actual reigning, defending champion of the heavyweight division, and he never even got the opportunity to, because he ended up leaving. He only defended one time, ends up leaving, and now you're the first fight you're gonna see him back is against, the world's greatest heavyweight boxer. I mean, I don't know. It's not a great fight. It's not a great fight, but I don't know. I just talk about the fights. You know what I mean? I don't do the fighting. I don't do the fighting. I just talk the fighting. I just talk that fight shit. I'm curious to see what's gonna happen. Overall, I'm curious to see what's gonna happen. I just don't think it's the best move. I think maybe even getting his feet wet in PFL first, maybe that would have been a good thing, but who knows? I guess we'll see. What other fucking stuff's going on in the MMA world and boxing world and stuff? I kind of just started. I just started this episode and just went at it. There ain't gonna be no cuts, no episode, no edits in this. I'm not gonna have nothing extra in this. It's gonna be the most simple episode you guys watch. Maybe I'll just end it here. What other thing though? There was one other thing. Oh yeah, pull-out merchant Paulo Costa. I guess he's out of this upcoming fight card. Not the London one, but the next one. So I guess he's out of that, but is fighting in October in Abu Dhabi against Hamzat. So we will wait to see. We'll wait to see. But I don't know if this dude, this Islam guy, has an opponent for UFC 291. Yeah, that's what's supposed to be. Yeah, UFC 291. Paulo Costa pulled out against that guy who I can never pronounce his fucking name. No surprise to that. I can never pronounce anybody's name. But yeah, let's see. Paulo. Yeah, so it was supposed to be Paulo Costa versus Ikram Aliskerov, but Paulo Costa pulled out, and he's going to fight Hamzat in Abu Dhabi. So I don't know if that leaves Ikram with no fight, or I heard rumors that Roman Dolidze was going to take that fight, which could be exciting. Roman's a bad dude. That'll be a very exciting fight, but this card's fun. Chiesa, Kevin Holland, Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green, Jan Blachowicz, Alex Pereira, Poirier, Gaethje. Fantastic card. We're going to have a very good night on July 29th. And then the first fight in August is Corey Sandhagen and Umar Nurmagomedov with Jessica Andrade facing Tatiana Suarez. That's a good card, too. Well, it looks like we got some shit to break down soon. Also, we got Aspinall versus Tibera. Why it doesn't show anything else for that fight card? Just Doesn't even show a fight card on Google. I wish I could show this, but yeah, it doesn't even show a fight card on Google right now. Okay. Huh. Well, I guess we'll see. But I will see you soon with more breakdowns because you already know there's a lot of fight cards coming up soon, so we got a lot of things to break down. So, as always, I appreciate you for listening to this episode, just listening to me ramble on. You know we got to have episodes every week, at least once a week. I want to do twice a week, but I'm a busy man and a lazy man. Unfortunately, the truth is what the truth is, right? After I work, I don't fucking feel like doing anything. But this is what I need to be doing because I got no excuses to not do it. So hopefully we'll start getting them 2 episodes a week out and start bringing some more viewership because we got to step this shit up. We got to really step this shit up. So I appreciate you for listening. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, and actually, like, for real, comment down there. I don't even care what you say. Just help it out. It's supposed to help the algorithm from all the YouTube stuff I've been reading. So I appreciate you as always. I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.